Hello everyone, I'm Verde Augusto. This is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you all for being here. It's Saturday night, the 23rd. It's almost the 24th of, well actually I think it is technically the 24th of January, and it's chilly. It's like 21 degrees tonight. And it's, I think it's like 1 o'clock now. My clock, my computer's a little wrong. Thank y'all for being here. If you're new here, welcome. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. The way that you hear more and see more of your favorite content is when you interact more with them. And if you comment and thumbs up and do all that, you will see your favorite content creators regularly on your recommended screen. So that is just a public service announcement for you. And knowing that, please do that under my my videos and go back and watch some of the older ones, because this we're going to be getting into some complex stuff. All right. So first off, there is a lot going on, and so all right. Let me adjust myself here. All right, there we go. All right. So there's a lot going on. And in case you didn't know, there's this crazy data spike that's coming from, here it is over here, Cumiana. All right, so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to, having trouble with the live stream. So what I want to do is I think I'm going to have one first video that's just basically a succinct introduction to the model here. And then the next one I'm going to go into some more depth on what it is. So I'm going to just basically introduce the elements here in this. So in case you don't have much time, you have the basic elements, and then you can go back later and watch the other one that goes into more depth. And that way I'll have a couple relatively quick short videos that will be, instead of one long video. All right, so getting right into it. All right, so this is, I do, by the way, I'm the one that does all these teaching things. I do have to do a screen capture. This one here took me like over 2 hours to do. And this is a large format. I have it fit to screen here, but this is a large format. All right, so what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to introduce this really briefly. So you may or may not have heard, but there was the other day, as it shows here, there was a spike. At one point it showed 3,000, another point it showed 6,000. And we get these crazy numbers from the Cumiana site, which is right here, and people regularly ask, oh, what's going on, right? So this is just an introduction to the Cumiana site that gives you these crazy spikes. All right, so so this right here is showing you the, okay, so first off, this capture here is from the 22nd. Okay, so the one that's more recent, the new, brand new one, doesn't show any of this on it. So this is the one, the teaching model that I'm using, even though this is not the most current, it's like this is the one that's the teaching model. As a, you know, as a disclaimer, whenever I'm doing these, I always try and have the most current version of the Schumann Resonances up so you can see and use the current version as a reference. So even though this is, you know, within 48 hours, it's still fairly new, and there's still a lot of questions. I'm still answering questions on Facebook and YouTube on it, and I need to do the in-depth analysis on this. So this is why, you know, technically speaking, those of you who know me, I'm just making this disclaimer. Okay. Let me pause for a sec. Okay. So, all right. So this is the Cumiana station. So the panels that we have up here, this is the VLF, which means very low frequency, and it says here below the first live spectrogram, updated 30 minutes, it shows the 8 hours VLF, there's a mouthful, VLF activity as received by Marconi antenna electric field. So it's telling you electric field. This is the amplitude. These are spikes of amplitude. Okay, so what we're looking at here, the first thing is this is the time and the date. It's telling you Cumiana It's telling you this is the scale, 15,000 hertz, VLF field. Okay, so that's just some information. This is your decibel meter reading here. So this is telling you, showing you what the colors are. And this is the number -100, and this is -150. Okay, so I know this is small right here, but I'm just going through this as an introduction. The next video, I'm going to give it to you, I'm going to break it up into detail. So this is just the introduction. Okay, quick, short, bam, hit it and quit it. Okay, so these are the spikes of amplitude. Now what you're looking at is two different, this is the spectrogram of the intensity off of 3.5 it shows here. I'm not sure. All right, I'll go into that later. All right, so this is the scale that's measuring 15,000 right here, the first one. Okay, so this one, VLF, goes up to 15,000. And this is, I believe, the ULF, which goes up to 1,500. Okay, so these are the same exact signals, but this one is in the scale of 1.5K hertz, 1,500, and this one goes up to 15,000. Okay, and you see over here on the right-hand side, this is the intensity on the decibel meter. So what we're looking at here, these spikes of amplitude, I've mentioned them before. Oops, sorry, that's not the one. We've mentioned them before, and I call those, these spikes of amplitude, I call these the vertical frequency. Okay, so what you're looking at here are the wave. It's a wave. It goes in and out like this, like a fish, sort of. You can't even see it. The horizontal goes like that. That's the magnetics. The electrics, the vertical, goes like that. I can't even see it. Oh, hello. Like that. Okay? Does that make sense? It stays upright and goes like that. So what you're seeing, and part of it, is across time, as it's moving dead like that, you're seeing it waving in and out. And that's what it's registering, is these frequency lines going vertically. Okay? All right. So this is the, like I said, this is the VLF with two scales. Where are we? There we go, 2 scales. All right, so I show that to you. All right, so below that, all right, okay, so, all right, so this one here, it's the Marconi antenna and geophone. It says amplitude, scale, 2 channels listed below. Okay, so it says 2 channels. All right, so the first one is your seismograph, your seismic meter, frequency range 1 to 30 hertz for the top spectrogram. Okay, so this first one here, really important that you see this, that this is a spectrogram, the seismogram, seismometer, okay, seismic meter, the seismometer, is giving you the seismogram. Okay, take a moment to pause. All right. So this is seismic, which you may or may not know, that's ground shaking. Okay, that's what that is. The seismograph is, I think that's what it is. The seismograph is giving you the Earth's movement. Okay, so while you are seeing the Earth's movement here in the top, 1 to the 30 hertz, right there, vertical, horizontal movement, 1 to 30 hertz movement this way, the pressure waves, it's the Earth, it's moving. I keep doing that. You know what? Here, let me help myself. Let me help myself to help you here. All right, let's see. Well, all right, better. All right. Okay, you're back. Oh my God, I promised this was going to be short, and I'm like a third of the way through it. But by the time I want to be done, I'm a third of the way through it. I'm not even a third of the way through it. Okay, onward and upward. All right. So, as you see, the seismic activity, you can see pick up there, pick up there, pick up there. You're registering this chart here. Am I in the right one? Yeah, this chart here goes up to 105. And you see right here, the commercial power line right here. That's the notch right there. It goes to 105. And so all this stuff is way, way, way over 105. Then you see 105 is like down here, way down here, because it goes up to 1500. So as you see, both of these, you line them up, you sync them up. Look, as you see this crazy wave, the seismic activity come in, and then you see these, these guys huffing and puffing on the chart. Right? So this is the first most important thing for you to notice, okay, is the correlation between the seismic graph and the activity in the the lower ULF range as it goes up into the VLF range of 1500 hertz. Okay, so all right, so that explains that, and then this just tells you how long that when they do the scanning and all of that. All right, so this one right here is the electric field stream. It's the continuous stream that you can see the last 5 days. All right, so this was relevant obviously again on the 22nd, and this is the 21st, the 20th. All right, so you see this are spikes right there, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that's that day. Now, you look at this. Look at this. I'm going to go into this more in depth at the expanded one. But this right here is the geophone multi-strip hourly representation, useful for local seismic events correlation. Okay, so you see how these stripes here, all of these stripes here, right here, that indicates a number of hours of quake activity, seismic activity that they're registering along with the amplitude spikes. Okay, so I'm showing you this all in all here together, coming from the same place, the VLF station, the Cumiana, and northwestern Cumiana in northwestern Italy. Okay, so they're the ones that are giving us this data, and this is what they do. Right over there, that's what they do. They spent all that money on these machines to detect earthquakes, okay? Not Schumann resonances. The Schumann resonances are their overlap, but this is a much different, bigger, broader range of waves and energy than the Schumann resonances alone. Okay. All right, so those are coming from Cumiana. All right, so this one over here, over on the right-hand side here, is this is the of that day, the capture for that day of the earthquake activity. And so you'll see here, Italy, the boot of Italy, little tiny Italy here, okay, at the boot of Italy, there is indeed earthquake behavior going on that we can recognize, we see from, this is actually volcanodiscovery.com. All right, so you can see on the seismograph, from the world perspective, there is earthquake activity there. Okay, so this correlates that to that. All right, now, if you look at, just in contrast, which you can't actually, hold on. All right, so if you look at this in contrast, see, these are all the solar factors that are in mind, that are in line with the other part of the other factor. How do I put this? We're looking for a couple different factors, external factors to the Schumann resonances themselves. One of them is earthquake behavior, and the other is solar radiance. And so, without going into too much detail here, there's a little burst from a couple days before, previous to this activity, the activity and behavior on the chart. All right, and so you can see the relatively low level of electron flux that's coming at the time of this burst, a crazy burst of vertical frequency. Okay, and let me just say, for the sake of clarity, when people talk about, when the majority of people talk about this burst of, when they talk about these bursts of amplitude, they refer to them frequently in hertz, as hertz. And that is not correct, because hertz is a cycle per second. These happen quicker than a second. These are faster than a second, largely. They are the spikes of being, and then there's another spike, then there's another spike, and then there's another spike. So like drum beats. Okay. So as it were, the analogy is a drum beat. All right. So so each one of the beats that you see there is shorter than a second. So it's not able, first and foremost, it's not able to be measured as a cycle per second. Okay, that's first and foremost, is it's quicker than the hertz scale. Secondly, it's an amplitude spike, which is not a cycle. Okay, it can spike and then it can spike and then it can spike, but it's essentially starting from a 0 up to, the 100% and then back down. There can be a kind of, a moderate, but then it'll drop down. A wave, the horizontal frequency on the other side, the other hand, does this. It keeps going up and down and up and down. That's the horizontal wave of it. All right, so there's two different frequencies that we're talking about. One is the vertical frequency of amplitude. This is decibels, decibel hertz, because it's measured, you see this here, it's measured on the decibel scale. Okay, it's technically decibels of pico-electron volts, which is what is the correct, proper way to refer to these amplitude spikes. They are a vertical frequency, which is decibels, and not a horizontal frequency, which is hertz. And the resonance frequency is a rate. It is not a propagating frequency like a wave. A resonance frequency stays still. It stays in place. It doesn't, because it's two waves that are crashing into each other in the same place. Keep crashing into each other, forms the same frequency. As they keep crashing into each other, it forms a frequency in one place. And so that frequency is a rate, the difference between those two originating wave frequencies. So a resonance is the difference between two frequencies. So it's a rate. It's not a frequency itself. Okay. So there's three different, when we talk about frequencies, there's three different types of frequencies depending on the direction and depending on depending on its movement, depending on where and how it's moving. It's you got to remember, it's a three-dimensional space. It's not just one vector in one direction. There's three directions we're looking at. One of those directions is a time variable. Time as a direction and a dimension as well. All right, so that covers the whole basic thing here. I'm at under 20 minutes if I can end this shortly, and I think that's a good place to stop. So I'm going to post this very shortly so you all can see it. It'll be there in the morning with your morning coffee. And the bigger one I will be working on, and that'll be out as a premiere. So this is, I guess, as a introduction to a premiere coming up later today. All right. So the live streams are going to be kind of put on hold for a little bit until we can figure out the internet problem. But I'm definitely going to do some premieres, and we'll figure something out. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your day. I very much appreciate everyone. I love the live stream, so we'll figure something out. But for the time being, I'll definitely be doing some premieres. So thank you all for being here. If you're new here, welcome. Share, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all. Namaste.